Welcome to Lab 22, Configuring System Recovery Options. To do Lab 22, we'll need a Server A, Server 2012 R2, Client B, Windows 8.1 Enterprise Client, and Client C, Windows 8.1 Enterprise. To begin with the first exercise, you'll only need the first two, the Server A server and the Client B running. And then until the third exercise here, we won't have to start the Client C. So we'll try doing it with two machines at a time and pausing when we hit we'll pause Client B when we get to the exercise that requires Client C to be running. And see how it works out. So we're doing a lab configuration 3 setup. Our server's running the ADATM domain, and our clients B and C, are connected to the domain. So let's begin with Client B. We'll log in as the ADATM administrator. On the start screen, type control. And click the control panel tile in the results. In the search control panel text box, type create a restore point. And press enter. When the create a restore point option is displayed, click create a restore point. And then answer question 1. Which drive is listed in the protection settings box? Enter the answer to question 1 in your lab worksheet. Question 1. Which drive is listed in the protection settings box? In the System Properties dialog box, click Configure. When the System Protection for Local Drive C dialog box appears, click to select the Turn on System Protection. Then slide the max to 10%. Click OK. And then to create a restore point, click Create. In the description text box, type Test. And then click Create. System restore points are good in case you get a virus or you get a driver that's bad that can't be undone for whatever reason. The restore points, when you use them, will roll back the software to the point where the restore point was created. Data files will stay where they were on the machine, so if users had data, documents, and whatever, it doesn't affect those, but it will change back software. So if you've had any software created or added to a computer since a restore point was made, and then you go back to a restore point and remove that software. So we've now successfully created a restore point. Take a screenshot of the system protection dialog box. That's the dialog box that appears now. We're pressing the Alt print screen and pasting it into the lab worksheet. And then click close. In the system properties dialog box, click system restore. Click next. So now you can see the list of the restore points. On machines that have had a lot of restore points, sometimes you have to select the show more restore points options, but ours are pretty simple right now. So I already had a restore point, so I have to actually, in order to do the next step, I have to select one. If you only have one restore point, you'll be able to just continue with the menu by clicking next. But since I have to actually select mine, click the test restore point that you made and then click next. In the confirm your restore point dialog box, click finish. And when presented with a warning, click yes to continue. So the system's now preparing our restore point, and it's actually going to apply those rollbacks and then reboot. So it'll roll back to the restore point that we created, which we didn't really change much in between now and then, but in the real world, say if you got a Windows update and your machine starts locking up, you can roll back to a restore point to before that update was installed, and maybe not choose that update the next time, or hide the update in Windows Update. So it makes it a little easier undoing things that happen to the system or programs that may have been damaging. So it's doing the restore. They want you to wait. So it's particularly useful for bad Windows updates, but it's also useful for malware. If you happen to accidentally click on something on a website or an ad and it installed some malware, if you go back to a previous restore point that was created just prior to doing the action of clicking on something that caused the malware to be installed. So typically, if your Windows updates are set to run once a month, you can roll back to the Windows Update restore point, or the defaults for the restore points is a week. So you should be able to select a restore point that's happened within the last week. When you do the restore point though, if you have installed any other software, you may see a menu actually that tells you which software that the restore point affects. So it basically gives you a list of which software it's going to remove or roll back since it was installed after the restore point was created. So if there's a list like that, you need to take note of the applications or updates that it shows on there so that you can install those again after the restore point is completed. Should be noted too, after any time you fix a computer for either issues with Windows updates, drivers, or malware, or even removing viruses, you want to create a new restore point in case the user gets those again. Occasionally users don't learn their lesson the first time, so it's a good idea to create a new restore point after you've resolved any issues that a user may have, in case they repeat their same mistakes that caused the issue the first time. That way it makes it simple for you to go back and fix the system a second time. So if you had to install any software after fixing it the first time and then you create a restore point, then if they do get the malware or bad Windows update again, you can restore using the restore point that was created after you fixed it the first time and installed the software that would have been affected. So I'm going to pause the video until it finishes. So my client's rebooting. Then we want to log in as the ADATEM administrator to client B. And when the system restore is completed, take a screenshot of the system restore dialog box by selecting it and pressing the Alt Print screen and pasting it into the Lab 22 worksheet. Click Close on the System Restore dialog box. And that's the end of exercise 22.1. Leave the client B running and logged in for the next exercise. Exercise 22.2, using the Windows Safe mode. If needed on client B, log on using the ADATA administrator account. We stayed logged in from the last one, so we don't have to do that. Right click the Start button. And on the context menu that appears, select the Command Prompt Admin. The command prompt window appears, and type shut down /r/o and press enter. When prompted to shut down the system, click Close. And the system will shut down in less than a minute. The shutdown option that we typed in included the reboot and option command. So the system will shut down in less than a minute, and then click the troubleshoot tile. Click the advanced options. Click startup settings. And then select restart. So in the startup setting options, Windows shows the startup settings. Press 4 on the keyboard, which is enable safe mode. After client B boots, log in as ADATA administrator again. So it logged in. So we're now running in safe mode. Close the Windows Help and Support window. Click the Start button. and on the start screen type ms config. And then select the resulting tile. The system configuration window appears. Take a screenshot of the General tab by pressing Alt Print Screen and pasting it into the Lab 22 worksheet. Select the Boot tab, and then answer question 2 in your Lab worksheet. Question 2, what is the boot entry that is shown? Again, question 2, what is the boot entry that is shown? The system configuration window that we're in right now, if you had more than one bootable hard drive, the other drives would appear under the existing one, so that you could then select it and set the defaults for the different drives. If each of the drives had an active bootable partition, this is how you would set which one Windows would actually boot to. It's one way of doing it. It's not the only way, it would be one way. So click the Services tab. And then answer question 3 in your Lab worksheet. Question 3, how many services are running? And click the status column to sort the running versus stop service entries to make it easier to count the running entries. So count the entries there for the services that are running, and enter the answer into your Lab worksheet for question 3. Click the Hide All Microsoft Services checkbox. And then answer question 4 in your Lab worksheet. Question 4, how many non-Microsoft services do you have? Again, question 4, how many non-Microsoft services do you have? If you were having trouble with a service that came with a piece of software that kept crashing the machine, this would be how you would go in and see if the service was started. The point of filtering it by non-Microsoft ones assumes that another manufacturer would have created the software. So it helps you narrow down your search. So click OK to close the system configuration window. And let's right click the Start button again and choose Computer Management from the context menu. So click the Event Viewer, select Windows Logs, so expand the Event Viewer, select Windows Logs, they can expand that again, and then select System. It'll take a little while to appear. And look at the application log. Sorry. If you're experiencing a problem, you'd look for the events that would help you troubleshoot the problem. So typically if there's problems, warning such as it would look like this, or if there were critical errors, there would be a little different icon for the level, and those would help you troubleshoot the problem. Close the computer management console. Use the File Explorer to navigate to the C:/Windows folder. And locate the NTBT log.txt, and then open the file to view its contents. And then take a screenshot of the NTBT log file by pressing the Alt print screen. And then close the log file. Paste the print screen into your lab worksheet. Right-click the Start button, and on the context menu, select Shut Down and Sign Out, and Restart. This is the end of exercise 22.2. The lab manual says to leave the windows running for the next exercise. Since my machine can't run 3 virtual machines at once, I'm actually going to pause client B after it finishes booting. So I can start client C. So I'm going to unpause my client C here for So we can begin the next exercise. My client C was at the end of the previous exercise that we used client C on, which was I think exercise 20. So I had to log out. When your client C comes up, log in as the ADATM administrator. Okay, so beginning exercise 22.3, performing a system restore. Log into client C as the ADATM administrator. Right-click the Start button and on the context menu, click the Control Panel. The control panel window opens. Select System and Security. And then File History. The File History control panel appears. On the left side of the window, select System Image Backup and click. The Create a System Image wizard appears, displaying the where do you want to save the backup message. So the lab manual shows you selecting drive D, but in one of the previous labs we had added our secondary drives with some more partitions with different names. So to get back to the saving as drive D, you want to open the disk management utility by right-clicking the start menu, select disk management. If you already have D, you can choose it from the menu, but we'll need to actually delete the partitions that we created. Or delete the volumes, sorry, in the previous exercise to get back to just having a drive D. So we'll delete both of these. And then just create a new simple volume with the full size. And we'll select D as the name. We'll just leave the default value for the volume label and finish. So now it's formatting our D disk. Now it's formatted. So we can close the disk management utility now that we have a partition we can save our image to. And then on this menu where it says on a hard disk, we'll select refresh. And then now it shows drive D. So now we can select drive D, choose next. And then click Start Backup. and then Windows is saving the backup. I'm going to pause the video while it does this because it may take some time. The backup is taking long enough that I'm going to have to split that video into another part. So this will be video part 1, and then we'll resume after the backup's complete with part 2.